Hello everyone and welcome to a new Dauntless video. In today's video, we're going to explore one of the recent leaks, which was shared from within the Dauntless dev team, which indicates something exciting joining us in the Shattered Isles. Now I know I've talked about pets coming to Dauntless in this channel before a few times, however now it seems we have clear evidence that it's now very likely. Having little companions to join you on your adventures was something the dev team talked about very early on in the Dauntless lifecycle. It was set aside and forgot about for many years, but now it seems like the dev team are looking back into that idea again. Early on in the year, I released a video talking about why I thought pets were coming to Dauntless. At that time, the developers had just released a dev blog talking about a new buff system coming in the Shattered Isles update, and in that dev blog was a strange clue, which led myself and many to believe that yes, pets were probably coming to Dauntless. So now let's just dive right into that leak, break it down, analyse it, discuss it, talk about what we hope to see and what we expect to see. Okay, so this is it. This little screenshot of Don Flamingo gives us not only an idea of what to expect with the new pets coming to Dauntless, but also the new UI. They did say they were going to be working on the UI and interface in Dauntless, and if this is an idea of what they're going to be going for, then I'm a big fan. One of the biggest things that bugs me about Dauntless currently is yes, you can customise your character in many different ways with different edits and builds and transmogs. However, when it comes to editing your hunter rivals, your gliders, your titles, your emotes, that all comes under a completely different category, and if you want to build an identity, you have to change that each time you change your build. It can be quite frustrating actually. However, they have confirmed that after the big update they're going to be combining this, and as you can see here, you can change all your different information such as your gliders, your pets, your emotes, all that kind of stuff, and you can change it depending on the build. As you can see the top here with the different builds. So that's going to be brilliant. Each build looks like it's going to have its own identity, and it's going to be much easier and much more streamlined. And I do also have gripes with the current Dauntless interface. I do find it to be a little bit clunky and a little bit dated now. If this is a look into what it's actually going to look like after the update, then I'm a big fan. Much more modern looking, much more sleek and much more simplistic. So, moving on. So Kazakh elaborates on the screenshot. It's time to talk about a new feature that we're planning to reveal on the Shattered Isles. Pets. This image is full of placeholders, including the pet itself. We love the gecko, but we might not ship it. Talking a bit about the vision for pets, we don't want pets to be another complex system on top of gameplay combat, therefore for now, we are not aiming for pets to have a compact gameplay implication. For example, they won't help you against the behemoths. But, as you know, very often we learn a lot during development and pivot things. We have a designer starting on Dauntless next month, and they will be in charge of pets, so keep in mind that even this design vision might not be final. Pets will be split into ether elements, with a creature having alignment each of them, as the screenshot shows. But with 2 evolution steps, term is still in the works, you equip your pet, go hunt behemoths, and it evolves into an even more ether aligned version of it. This is also part of the current vision. We don't want to have mini behemoths. One other example that we're exploring, this is a possible larger pet on its frost variation, but not fully evolved yet. A bit of dev knowledge here. Anything on UI concepts is made to show how things will behave and might break. Yes, geckos is correct, but maybe we'll need to use another pet, and this is already showing how it would behave. And then Kazakh also goes on to state, which is very important, current behaviour is fleeing when combat starts. They are little friends that are scared of the big behemoths. Okay, so that's the leak we have. I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can have a read of this yourself. There's some comments added onto this post from the dev as well as the player base, which will elaborate on this just a little bit further as well. So what are my thoughts on this and what do I expect to see? Well, I'd be very surprised to see if this feature came with the Shattered Isles update in the summer. It seems like something that might take a little bit of time to implement and they haven't been working on for very long. I might be wrong though. I think when it does launch we're going to be given a few options of different pets. Some that will be achievable through in-game playing, but most variations probably something that you'll be accessing through the Hunt Pass or the Dauntless store. I think originally there probably won't be too many different variations, but this will expand over time. What I think is an excellent idea though is that they're going to have these creatures evolve, as in they're going to change and they're going to grow over time as you do through your gameplay. They talk about having a frost variation of an evolved gecko, and I know they're only talking about using these geckos as placeholders and they won't actually be shipped with the update. But it'll be interesting to see if we have any influence on the evolution. For example, I think about Eevee from Pokemon. If you give it a Fire Stone, it'll become Flareon, or if you give it a Water Stone, it becomes Vaporeon. In this example, if it's transfused with Frost Ether or Blaze Ether, that'll have an influence on how it evolves, but it'll be interesting to see. Which brings me to my next point. At time of launch, it seems like these pets are going to be non-combat and that they're going to have no say or influence on the battlefield at all. They're not going to impact you, they're not going to impact the behemoths, they're not going to do anything in any way whatsoever, from what it seems. So purely cosmetic. And I can imagine some of the player base might not be too pleased about that. You would think having a pet in Dauntless you would have an in-game AI ally who would help you take on behemoths or would maybe contribute towards your build, or you might think it would almost act the equivalent to the Artificer Omnicell, for example, where it can help you locate treasure chests, it can provide shields, it can revive allies, things like that. But no, it seems at launch pets will be purely cosmetic. My opinion, it doesn't bother me too much. It's a wee bit disappointing. As I stated, with the Artificer Omnicell and some of the benefits that gives you, I would have thought the addition of pets would have been something like that. And then since they already kinda have it in place, you would think it would be easy to implement, almost like a reskin into a pet, but then what do I know? But despite that, I think pets coming to Dauntless, no matter what, would be a wonderful addition. It would add a bit more personality and a bit more personalisation. I think we have to be aware that the resources the Dauntless developer team have to work with are probably fairly limited. I think the game engine can only be stretched so far, so it must be quite complicated to implement, and then there's time. The Dauntless player base is currently not getting any bigger, and they need new features and they need them as soon as possible. So to have the option of purely cosmetic pets added to Dauntless to see all the different varieties and all the different edits that people could come up with, running around Ramsgate or out on the Shattered Isles would be a brilliant addition to the game, and I'm looking forward to it. But that'll about do it for this video. If you are new to the channel, please feel free to hit that like or subscribe button. I do a Dauntless podcast, where we talk about all things Dauntless, and I'm joined by some wonderful content creators where we've talked at great lengths about this big Shattered Isles update coming in the summer. Come check that out. But until next time, see you later.